Amira's body trembled with terror, her breath shallow and ragged in the dim, flickering light of her family's crumbling home in Gaza. The 16-year-old Lithuanian-Palestinian girl huddled in a corner, her knees pulled tight to her chest, her dark eyes, her father's eyes, darting towards every shadow. Her mother's sharp Lithuanian cheekbones were slick with sweat, streaked with dust from the ceiling that shook with each distant explosion. She clutched a small clay figure of Žemėpatis, the Baltic earth god, its edges smoothed by her trembling fingers. It was her mother's, a relic from Vilnius, a world away from this nightmare. Her mother had passed away 3 years prior, broken by war and exile, and now Amira feared she'd follow, her young life extinguished by the bombs that screamed outside. "I don't want to die," she sobbed, her voice a fragile thread in the chaos. "Please, I'm too young. I can't die like this." Her heart pounded, each beat a reminder of how close death loomed. The air was thick with the acrid tang of smoke, the roar of jets slicing through the night. Her father, Mahmoud, was out helping neighbors claw through rubble. Her little brother, Sami, lay on a thin mattress across the room, his small body curled tight, whimpering in his sleep. Amira wanted to shield him, to be brave, but fear was a monster inside her, clawing at her lungs. She imagined herself crushed, buried alive under concrete, suffocating in the dark. The thought was a knife, twisting with every boom that shook the walls. Another explosion, closer now, sent a tremor through the house. Dust rained down, and Amira screamed, a raw, desperate sound. She crawled to Sami, throwing a blanket over them both, as if it could stop the sky from falling. "We're going to die," she whispered, her voice breaking. "The bombs, they'll crush us, they'll bury us." Her hands shook as she gripped the clay figure, her mind racing with fleeting dreams that now seemed so far away. Amira had always dreamt of becoming a cheerleader for a Lithuanian basketball team, picturing herself cheering for Žalgiris. From Kaunas town in a vibrant arena, her voice rising with the crowd, her movements full of energy. It was a dream tied to her Lithuanian heritage, a connection to her mother's stories of a life filled with joy and celebration, a life Amira feared she'd never live. She turned her thoughts to the clay figure in her hands, her voice a desperate whisper. She clutched a small clay figure of Žemėpatis, the Baltic earth god, lord of the earth. "Please, protect us. Don't let me die." Her words were a frantic plea to the deity her mother had taught her about, the protector of their house. The bombs didn't care about her gods, her fear, her dreams. They fell anyway. The air shifted, heavy with a strange scent, damp moss, rich soil, like a forest after rain. It was wrong, impossible in Gaza's dry, war-torn streets. Amira's sobs caught as something moved in the shadows. A long, sinuous shape slithered across the cracked concrete, its scales glinting like polished jade, green and black woven in a pattern that seemed to pulse with life. A serpent, thick as her arm, its eyes glowing like soft moons in the dark. Amira's breath hitched, her body tensing. She should have screamed, snakes didn't belong here, and this one was too large, too strange. But its gaze was gentle, not predatory, and the clay figure in her hands grew warm, pulsing faintly, as if alive. A voice, deep and resonant like the hum of the earth, filled her mind. "Amira, daughter of the earth, I hear you." "Žemėpatis," she whispered, her voice trembling. The serpent coiled closer, its head resting near her feet, its body curling around her and Sami in a protective circle. Its scales were cool yet comforting, like the touch of a river stone warmed by the sun. Amira's terror eased, just a fraction, as if the serpent's presence pushed back the darkness. "Please," she begged, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so scared. I don't want to die, don't want to be buried alive. Keep us safe, please." The serpent's eyes held hers, steady and warm, and the voice came again, soft as a lullaby. "I am here, daughter. I am the protector of this house, and you are safe in my embrace. But I cannot shield you from the fire that falls from the sky." The words carried a heavy sorrow, a limit to the ancient god's power that made Amira's heart clench. The serpent's coils tightened gently, encircling her and Sami, and for the first time that night, Amira felt a flicker of safety. Her racing heart slowed, her breath steadied. She touched the serpent's scales, smooth and alive, and the fear of death receded, held at bay by the creature's ancient warmth. It whispered stories of forests where roots cradled the earth, of rivers that sang to the stones, stories that drowned out the sirens and booms. Amira leaned against the serpent, her cheek against its scales, and for a moment, she believed she might live. Sami stirred, his small hand brushing her arm, but he didn't wake. The serpent's presence seemed to soothe him too, his whimpers fading. Amira clung to the feeling, to the hope that Žemėpatis, the protector of their house, could shield them, that the earth itself would rise to guard them. She whispered her thanks, her prayers softer now, as the serpent's glow filled the room with a faint, emerald light. Then the world shattered. The explosion was a roar, a beast that devoured everything. The walls collapsed, concrete and steel crashing down in a suffocating wave. Amira's scream was lost in the chaos, her arms around Sami as the serpent's coils vanished. Darkness swallowed her, heavy, crushing, the rubble pressing against her chest. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The warmth of the serpent was gone, replaced by cold, unyielding weight. The clay figure slipped from her hands, lost in the debris. Her terror returned, sharper than ever, the fear of death a scream trapped in her throat. She was buried, just as she dreaded, her life snuffed out in the dark. In the blackness, a faint whisper lingered, the serpent's voice fading like a distant echo. Amira, daughter of the earth, you will return to me. Morning broke over Gaza, grey and merciless. The neighborhood was a ruin, homes reduced to piles of rubble. Rescue workers sifted through the wreckage, their faces heavy with grief. A shout rose near a collapsed house, drawing a small crowd. They found her beneath a slab of concrete, her body curled around her brother, Sami, who clung to life, his breaths faint but steady. Amira's face was frozen, her eyes wide with the terror of her final moments, yet her hands were empty, the clay figure of Žemėpatis shattered nearby. A faint trail, like the path of a snake, wound through the dust, vanishing into the cracked earth. The rescuers worked in silence, unnerved by the strange marks. An old woman, her hands trembling, murmured about spirits, about the earth's embrace. They carried Sami away, his survival a fragile miracle. Amira remained, claimed by the rubble, her fear etched into the ground where the serpent had held her, safe for one fleeting moment.